Okay, tip number 2 when we're talking about the 5 golden pillars of music production. So tip number 2 is being organized from the start. Many students have reached out to me, and the number one reason for burnout when being a music producer is unorganization. Like, you don't know, for example, where to put your projects, where to put your sounds, and like, if you work with clients, whatever. Being organized, I'm telling you, is the secret to really seeing results as a music producer and still always having fun. And let me just walk you through. So there's 2 ways that you can be organized, okay? So you can create your own custom music folder, which I highly recommend, and I'll talk about that in a second, or you can use the built-in file management of the DAW. So FL Studio has their own way that you can store files, as well as you can just do your own custom music folder. And what's happened for me is I went the custom music folder approach. What's really awesome about it is it doesn't matter what's happening to the DAW. Okay, so one thing to say is FL Studio did change their folder structure in recent years, and it kind of changed how you could store your files and the location of the files. And so if you had all your files in FL Studio's kind of ecosystem, file management, you were having to reorganize your stuff. Okay, with my approach here, a custom music folder, it doesn't matter what happens to your DAW. You just create your music folder, you organize your projects, you organize your sounds, your VSTs, and it's super easy. It's super easy to back up. And so that's what I suggest to you. Now, you can use the built-in file management of your DAW. It's really helpful. Sometimes it can be even faster in some ways, like if you want to access files or whatever. But again, it can change over time, which we have seen with FL Studio. Now, nowadays, FL Studio's built-in management system seems like it's well thought out now. So I wouldn't say that, you're going to go wrong that way, but it's just, all I'm saying is my experience of a custom music folder, I have just, significantly enjoyed my workflow. Okay. Now let's just talk quickly about why a custom music folder. Okay. So you know exactly where your music files are when it comes to your projects, your sounds, and if you work with clients. Okay. It saves you so much time, right? You work faster, you're clear-headed. Honestly, it is such a relief. Okay. Now in our upcoming video, I'm going to break down how to create a custom music folder. If you'd like to follow my folder structure, I'm going to show you how I, organize my projects, how I organize my sounds. This includes the one-shot drum samples and VSTs. With the VSTs, I like to also keep a backup of an executable file. And so the next part of a custom music folder is actually backing it up, so that was a very tricky thing for me personally. And so, for example, do you have a solid backup plan? Because it's very important. Like, are you even backing up your music? If your computer failed today, how long would it take you to get back up and running? And it doesn't have to be hard. So you can just put your projects in the cloud and have a hard drive backup in addition to your computer, which I will, we're going to do a really cool video. I'll write on a paper and pencil, and I'll just show you, because writing on paper and pencil, I'm telling you, is so awesome for figuring out your game plan and kind of connecting the dots. And finally, when I talked about organization is burnout, when you have too many plugins, okay? So organization, so too many plugins. So be careful of too many plugins, especially free plugins, okay? This is what I call gear lust. If you have too many plugins, it's the potential for bugs. Even right before this video, I wanted to load up a project with you guys. It was an older project. I loaded it up and it was giving me an error. So I had to open up the installer, reinstall it, and everything finally worked. But it was the fact that, man, time is money, and time is so valuable. So I was experiencing bugs. Another thing, if you have too many plugins, you have to learn the plugins. And some of these plugins aren't easy to learn. Okay. And so the trick is if you can learn your plugins really well, you can become a really good producer because you know how the plugins work. Like if you want a certain sound, if you need to do something, you know what you're doing. And I'm telling you, there's not enough time to learn them all. When you're watching tutorials or videos and all these companies are advertising to you, they're taking your time, okay, and money. Another thing too, if too many plugins, extra space on your computer. And if you paid for them, more money spent. So my highest recommendation for you guys is to learn premium plugins well and truly understand what you're doing, and it's going to send you so much further. Now, you don't have to have FabFilter plugins. You guys can do whatever you want, but I do suggest looking at a premium suite of plugins. And so what that means is many times these DAWs, they usually lack in a certain area when it comes to audio, such as mid and side mode, or multiband compression, or even a gate, okay? And when you can get premium plugins that just work super good, I highly recommend just keep using those plugins, learn them really well. And many times these plugins, they even have different modes. Like for example, like if we load up like a FabFilter Pro C, you can see we even have different modes of compression. So I don't have to use different compressors. I can just use this one compressor. I know it really, really well. It has all these different modes, which essentially is just like different timings and different character of sound. So for example, if we select clean and we have like a really fast attack, it might sound quite a lot different if we choose the classic. And you can even see that the actual curve changed, right? Okay, so it's just when you have powerful plugins, it just allows you as the music producer to be super, super creative, super powerful, and it allows you to know what you're doing fast, efficiently. And I'm telling you, my workflow has been amazing. I use FL Studio to make beats. I use the FabFilter plugins for the mixing and mastering. And then yes, when it comes to third-party VSTs for our instruments, and these are, as you can see, these are the, at the moment, these are the VSTs I use for generating instruments, sounds. As you can see, there's quite a few stock plugins, right? 3x Oscillator is a stock, FL Keys is stock, Flex is stock. I believe Harmor is an upgrade for the FL Studio, but I do use it sometimes. Nexus is paid, Pigments is paid, Plucked is stock. We have Serum, which is paid, Silence One, paid, Citrus, stock. Not very many instruments, right? And honestly, when it comes to Citrus, I don't really know how to use it very well, but I keep it around because it's powerful. Silence One, super. Here, I'll just load these up just so we can kind of see them quickly because I think it'll be useful if you are, pretty new. Okay, let's just look at these super, super quick. So 3x Oscillator is like super classic. You can see that it came out like in 2000, right? So there's 3 oscillators is what they're calling them. All right. So, a generator, which is generating sound, and you can add these in together, right? So like additive synthesis. If you click here, you can also come up to here and you also have your filter section all in here, right? So if you want to be really creative with it, there you go. 3x Oscillator, very powerful. FL Keys, very, very simple for powerful piano. You also have different styles of piano. Even like the Rhodes is super powerful. A lot of people don't look at FL Keys. It's one of my favorite piano plugins and it's come stock. Okay, Flex, new. It's a Rompler. I highly suggest when you're first starting out, you use a Rompler. All you do is you just simply select a sound. So that's what's called a Rompler, okay? You can also select your sounds down here. Here is Harmor. This is a little bit of an older plugin now. It was newer for its time, but it has been around for a while now. Super, super powerful. You can select different presets up here, or you can design them yourself. Here's Nexus. This is another Rompler, just like Flex. So again, this is Flex, and this is Nexus. So essentially, when you're making beats, I highly suggest using a Rompler. One, you don't have to worry about sound design. 2, just the versatility. And so this is why I like a Rompler, because I can just quickly grab real sounds. All right, so 3x Oscillator, FL Keys, Flex, Harmor, Nexus. Here's Pigments. This is a really, really unique synthesizer. What makes Pigments really, really powerful is there's different types of synthesis built in right into Pigments, which is really, really powerful, really, really good bang for buck. Here is Serum. It's what you call like a wavetable synthesizer, but really it's much more than that because you have 2 generators, you even have a filter, and you can, if we just select just like a wavetable, you can kind of go through that just like this, right? Okay, and then we have Silence One, which is one of the industry classics. You can see you have Oscillator 1, so this generates one waveform. Oscillator 2 generates another waveform. You can detune them, you can make them wide or less wide. And then what's really powerful is you can just hop over to part B, which is, now this isn't A and B, for example, A and B comparison. This is not A and B. you can blend A and B. So for example, you actually have 4 waveforms that you can blend together, which is super powerful. And then again, you have your filters. And again, I'm not covering this stuff in this course, but I just want to show you guys when it comes to plugins. Like, so for me, I've never really mastered Citrus. This is a stock plugin that comes with FL Studio, extremely powerful. Okay. But I just want to share that when I right click and I go instruments, you can see these are my instruments. Let's just quickly look at my effects. Okay. So for example, if we click here, you can see when it comes to my delays, you know, if you're looking at this, what are you seeing? For me, I see stock plugins. I see a chorus by FL Studio. I see a flanger by FL Studio. I see 3 delays by FL Studio. This is a third-party one. I picked it up. It was like super affordable. Again, I'm not telling you guys to go out and buy this, but hey, it works pretty cool. I don't use it too much. I usually try to stick to the stock plugins, okay? So let's continue. So when it comes to distortion, so yeah, this is a third party. I don't use it too often. Camel Crusher is pretty powerful. Okay. But again, a lot of FL Studio. Destructor is an FL Studio stock plugin. So 1, 2, 3, 4 FL Studio plugins for distortion. Dynamics, I use a lot of FabFilter when it comes to this kind of stuff. Okay. So again, I'm not going to continue, but I'll just show you like even like reverb. Fruity Convolver, that's a stock plugin. Fruity Reverb, stock plugin. Oracle was just like that that Nebula. So let's go back to that delay quickly. So here's that Nebula. This was the same brand. I think I got them in like a bundle. I got them really, really affordable. And like they're cool, they're powerful, but again, it is a third-party plugin. You know, is the company going to support this plugin forever? Maybe, maybe not. But you know, when you use a stock plugin, you know that the company is typically going to at least allow it to work for much longer with their program. Okay, so let's load this back up. So again, unorganization, too many plugins. I just showed you a lot of plugins, and most of them were FL Studio stock ones. And the question is, do you even know how to use the stock plugins? So be careful with too many plugins, especially free plugins, because those plugin developers, if they're not making money from their free plugins, there's no promise that they're going to continue with it. And the same is even if they're paid. But if they're paid, typically, you know, you're going to typically get better support. You know, that one isn't fully true, but you know what I'm saying? If it's free, there is a lot of good free plugins out there. I'm not saying not to use them, but what I'm saying is just be careful if you're bringing them into your serious projects that you want to reopen later on. This is what's called gear lust. With too many plugins, there's potential for bugs. You have to learn them. They take up extra space in your computer. For me, when I install FL Studio, well, all those plugins come with the program, right? And if you paid for all these plugins, well, you're just spending more money. So again, my highest suggestion to you guys is to learn premium plugins well and truly understand what you are doing with those plugins, and you will go so much further as a music producer. Okay, so let's talk about a custom music folder. I'm just going to go quickly. We are going to create a custom music folder together. I'm going to show you how I organize my projects, my sounds, and then after that, we will just quickly talk about a solid backup plan. This is going to be a cool video. I am actually going to write on paper and pencil with you guys, and I'll just walk you through and essentially just connect the dots. Okay, so stay tuned. I promise you, this is definitely a golden pillar, because what happens is you get to making beats, and if you get unorganized, one day you're going to want to sit down and reorganize everything, and at that time you can have a lot of missing files, which means that you're going to get more unorganized. And so if you're organized, you can create music, you're super organized, and you can flow so fast. Okay, so let's get into creating a custom music production folder for you guys to be organized and see results in your music.